Well, Dan, we're here in Missoula, Montana. It's round number 5. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Well, we've been on top, we've been on bottom, so hopefully we'll get back up on top. If we can beat the rain here, so there is a little bit, so but it's a good track. It's going to be a fast track. I think it's going to be a driving track, so we'll just see where we're at.
But Monster Moose's reaction time was actually a lot slower.
Monster Moose with a .617 reaction time, almost double the time of what it took Paul Jensen to get off that light, and that might make quite a difference as they come into racing action later this evening.
So this is Bigfoot and Samson, Runty and Patrick. Look at Samson get airborne there. It's going to be close. They're pretty much running neck and neck. The times here, 5.607 for Bigfoot, but Samson, Dan Patrick, turns in a 5.574.
And look at the reaction time. And if you watch those two trucks, you notice Monster Moose, his suspension actually locked up there a little bit when he was in the air, unloaded, and allowed him to get back on the gas on the ground. We're moving on to the next two trucks now. Dan Patrick here in the Samson, which posted a fast time last time against Runty and the Bigfoot. And here they go side by side. They're off and running for their second qualifying run. Samson is going to have the faster time this time around. We'll be back after this break. Back into straight line drags. It is heat number 4 here of initial elimination as Jason Krill and Public Disturbance coming out of the Puget Sound area gets lined up and ready to roll against this man, Dan Patrick and Samson, and this is going to be a heck of a race for Grill to try and compete, Wade.
Yeah, he's a relative newcomer to MOD action. He's kind of a fan favorite, never really had a lot of success, and he's not going to have it here. He almost misses the cars completely, goes up on 2 wheels, and Samson beats him, but it was close. About 0.2 of a second separating the two trucks here.
0.2 of a second can mean the difference between winning and losing. Let's go back and take another look at this. As Grill trying to get off the line. Look at that, a little bit slow, not throwing the mud like the other trucks out here. Samson gets off very quickly. He's back over the second set of cars, and that 0.2 of a second is going to give him the win here.
Yeah, Public Disturbance might get a smog ticket there. He's throwing a lot of smoke out there. What's the deal with that?
You know, I don't know. It's a little bit cold out here in Missoula, Montana, where we're getting the rain. The weather has gotten a bit chilly for the fans and the trucks out here, so the heat coming off the exhaust very well. Bigfoot advancing to the final round, Wade.
So we move on to our last semifinal heat. It will feature Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer going up against Dan Patrick and Samson. Both of these trucks highly competitive, and it could be anybody's race, Kevin.
Well, let's take a look at Dan Patrick. It doesn't appear that he's out on the track yet. He's still back in the pits trying to get that truck rolling. Let's see if we can find out what's going on here, Wade.
Well, we're getting a report from the garage that he's having some timing problems with that engine. They're looking at the distributor to see if there's a problem with the distributor. It's just missing.
Well, it could be results of the rain out here in Missoula, Montana. Look at this. Christensen is going to run by himself with a red light coming across the line. However, even with that red light, because Samson did not come to the line, that is going to put Dragon Slayer into the semifinals with Dan Runty and Bigfoot. Looks like he was trying to cut a faster time than Runty here with that quick reaction time, Wade.
Yeah, he was looking for lane choice, trying to beat Runty's 5.444. I think the drivers think the left lane is the favored lane, so Craig was trying to get lane choice, every advantage he could possibly get.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Missoula, Montana. It's round number 6 of the 2006 Monsters of Destruction. I'm Kevin Hines. Craig Christensen is fighting awful hard to defend his #1 spot in the obstacle course as well as the straight line drags as we continue with round number 6. Let's take a look at our field of drivers.
There's no fast loser. You get popped the first round, you do the stands.
Out here with Dan, and you know, as the event draws ever so close, are you getting a little excited about tonight?
Getting nervous. Driving out here, we got a little vibration, so we don't know where that's coming from, but we'll just drive her till she quits.
That's right. Well, with the mud that was on it from round number 5, I know a lot of drivers were able to get most of that off, but some of it still gets in places that you can't always get, so hopefully your truck will hold together for you.
Well, you know, even though we had a bad round 5, we didn't go long enough to get it really all sloppy and muddy, so we didn't have to wash it down, you know, and put a lot of water on today, so that's kind of a plus. But yeah, you know, when you're throwing water on it to get it cleaned up for the next event, you know, you get moisture in places, then the heat comes up for the motor, and you know, it's a trying event because you just don't know what gremlins are going to come out here and grab
Reaction time for Bigfoot there, 0.186 seconds. That was great.
And here comes Brad Campbell in the 07 Monster Moose. Now he's going to be pitted up against Samson, a truck that had trouble last time around because of the rain out here in Missoula. Today the track very dry. Samson is off and running, and let's see if that Hemi unleashes. Here we go. Dan Patrick across the line, an amazing time, 5.390, the fastest time that we've seen. Well, actually second to fastest time that we've seen.
He maintains 2Q at 5.17.
In this matchup, now each driver on the second time around in the opposing lane, and Samson goes back up against Monster Moose. Now, driver Brad Campbell had some problems out there in round number 5. Let's see if we can keep the truck running this time. Here comes Patrick and Samson. He's off the green light. He's off and running a very fast time. It looks like Patrick, with the faster of the 2 times, going to take a 5.739. That's going to give him a little bit better choice come heat race time.
Qualifying results: Craig Christensen on top, number 1, followed by Dan Runcie, Dan Patrick, Rick Swanson, and Paul Jensen in Spider-Man. Qualifying 6th was Brad Campbell in the Monster Moose, followed by Jason Grill and Kelvin Raymer. Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel is brought to you by AmeriGas, America's propane company. And we go on to heat number 3. Here's Brad Campbell in the Monster Moose. He's going to do battle with Dan Patrick, the biggest arms in the business, on Samson. Patrick, not just a driver, he's a truck builder, a very well-respected truck builder as well. Let's see how he built this Samson truck here tonight. He's looking good, but so is Brad Campbell. This one's too close to call. Computerized scoring. There's a 1/10 of a second between them, 5.298. The nod goes to Samson, and Monster Moose goes home disappointed after a really strong run.
That's got to be pretty tough. Let's watch as both drivers lead the line. In fact, it looks like Brad might have had him off the line there a little bit. Dan Patrick, of course, with that very strong Hemi inside Samson. He's been working on that and dialing it in, opening it up to about 1,400 horsepower out here tonight, and that's going to give him the win here in initial qualifying action.
Yeah, Campbell was faster off the line, but Samson faster to the line, and sometimes that's all that matters. He's got more round 5, looking good here in round 6. Who's he going to have to beat to win here tonight in round 6? Well, it's either going to be that man, Craig Christensen in Dragon Slayer, our season points leader, or Dan Patrick and Samson. Both very formidable trucks, both very fast. Good start for both. Looks like Samson may have the advantage. Samson bobbles a bit, too close to call. 5.021 for Dragon Slayer. Christensen advances again. Samson almost, but not quite.
And it looks like Christensen is advancing to the final round now. A very tough run for those two drivers. Very, very close. 0.2 of a second separating at the finish line. And I tell you what, from this angle, you just couldn't tell from the camera angle there on the finish.
Very close race. The advantage goes to Craig Christensen. Monster Moose. Brad Campbell struggled in qualifying. He's got a tough draw here against Dan Patrick, Kevin.
Now, both of these drivers actually struggled in round number 5, and then, of course, Brad Campbell, we watched earlier, was having a tough time getting across the lights. We'll find out. Dan Patrick, obviously a tough competitor to beat as they both lead the line right now. Patrick looks like he's got a little bit of a jump on him. As they come around to the corner, Patrick putting down a good corner. He's got all 4 wheels steered. Look at Brad and Monster Moose stuck in the back of the course, Wade.
Yeah, he had to throw it in reverse. He caught a lot of air over that first stack of cars, and I thought he was going to fly all the way out of the track. He really got a lot of air, but had too much speed coming to the turn, had to lock him up, gather it up, and by then, Patrick was across the line with a time 6 seconds better than Campbell.
That's right. Let's take a look at our replay right now. There you see Samson, a very clean double right off the bat. Dan Patrick has got that truck dialed in. Here you see Brad in the background. He's in reverse right now, trying to get lined back up as Samson obviously finishing up the race without him. You know, with or without him, win, lose, or draw. Patrick is there to run his own race. And look at all the airtime there, Wade. Completely over jumps it, and that shoots him long for that corner, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know if he needed to get off the gas a little sooner there or tap the brakes to bring the nose down or what, but he definitely extended that jump way too far. Couldn't carry the turn, had to put on the brakes, and a very convincing and 4 times he's come up short. Tough break for Rick Swanson, but here's the next semi. It'll be Dan Patrick and Samson going up against Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. Christensen, the points leader so far this season. Dan Patrick wants to knock him off the top of the heap. They go green. Good start for both trucks. Christensen looks a little faster off the line, slides it through that turn, gets on the brakes hard, but he's around the turn better, sets up the double. It's still pretty close. Anybody's race. It's Samson, it's Bigfoot, but it's going to be Samson. 13.275. Patrick with a bit of an upset here against points leader Craig Christensen.
And Patrick with a very, very strong race. If you notice, Christensen got off the line quicker as we look at Patrick's start cam there here in the replay. A great jump, has nailed that jump all night long so far. Perfectly executed corner, gets back on the gas. There you see Christensen in the background, and right there is where he won the race. He got over that second jump, got the power to the ground, and that 1,400 plus horsepower Hemi just pulled him right across the line, Wade.
Look at that reaction time for Dragon Slayer. 0.089. Almost 0.4 of a second better than Samson, but not enough. the horsepower residing under that hood of the Samson truck enough on the course to win it. We'll be back with the finals here in round 6 of MOD competition. Dan Runte looking to extend his streak in the Bigfoot truck of victories here in obstacle course action, going up against Dan Patrick in the Samson truck. He's hungry. I don't know that he's won yet this year, Kevin.
Well, Dan Patrick has had a lot of trouble with the lights. You know, he's had some mechanical difficulties out here in round number 5 due to the rain. He does have a lot to prove out here to the winning streak competitor there of Dan Runte and Bigfoot. Both drivers have a lot of history in the sport. And look at this, Runte and Bigfoot with a commanding lead and a win with a 12.290. 0.4 of a second faster, and unfortunately Dan Patrick going to have to come back out and show the crowd what he's got for freestyle.
Yeah, it looks like Samson struggled a bit over the first obstacle after the turn. The double jump there after the turn is where Samson really lost it. Let's take a look at Bigfoot here. Over the double really well. Look at him get around that corner, and it doesn't lose any momentum, slides that rear end around, but that's where he wins it. He actually passed Patrick right there. Patrick had an advantage at the turn. But let's see if we can figure out where Samson loses his momentum. He's on the brakes hard right there. Gets around the turn pretty quick. Here's where he runs into trouble. Misses the approach to the double there, and it was all over from there.
Had to get relined back up, and unfortunately mentally for a driver, when you get out of line and you try and straighten it